Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you saw from the title of this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 20 books that you should read this summer. These are set in the summer, some of these are not. They're kind of just books that I think you could binge or that are easy to read so that it's chill in the summer and you could read them on the beach or basically take them anywhere. Yeah, so let's get into it because I have a lot of books to go through. Okay, so starting off first, I feel like this is kind of obvious, but basically any Emily Henry book I feel like you could read in the summer or binge on the beach or anything like that. They're just some of the best books ever. I love them, but two that I specifically think that would be the best to read in the summer are Beach Read and Happy Place. First we have Beach Read, which is kind of obvious. It's literally called Beach Read. But basically we follow August and January, and they knew each other from college, kind of, in a way. And it's kind of like I think it's like an invisible string theory type of relationship. January's dad dies and she inherits his beach house, and he is right next to August. And they're both writers and they kind of make this little deal, and it's almost like an enemies to lovers situation. Just in general, during summer, the vibes are amazing, and this is one of my all-time favorite books. And Happy Place, it looks so much fun on the cover. It really does look like a happy place, but this book does rip you to shreds. So if you're looking for something kind of like deeper in a way and something that will pull at your heartstrings, I definitely think this book is good for that. We're following Harriet and Wynn. They have been a couple for forever, and everyone just like knows them as a couple, and their friend group goes to the same little like lake house cottage thing in Maine every single year, and they always meet up and they always have such a fun time. But then something happens this specific summer and they're just trying to navigate it and all that. And I plan on rereading this book actually this summer. I don't know, I need to feel something, and that's why I want to read this. It's just such a good book in general. Okay, the next is also an author recommendation, I guess. It is Carley Fortune. So she has came out with these 3 books, and she always releases one like around this time of year in like May, and they're always like summer themed. So she first has Every Summer After, and Meet Me at the Lake was last year, and this year is This Summer Will Be Different. I'm actually currently reading this book and I'm actually really liking it so far. It's giving the summer vibes. I'll give a very short synopsis of each. Every Summer After is probably her most popular book. This one really gives you summer vibes. I think if you want to start with any of these, definitely start with this one. A childhood friends to lovers, and a lot of people compare it to Love in Other Words if you've heard of that book. There's like a miscommunication and on why they have stopped speaking from being like childhood friends, and this is her debut novel, and I think it was really good for her debut novel. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people have some mixed reviews on the like why they stopped talking, and I do understand for sure. I was kind of like, but it was still overall a great book, and it definitely gave the summer vibes. This book takes you through like 6 different summers from their past, which I really enjoyed. And for Meet Me at the Lake, I honestly don't remember too much about this book, but I do know that her mom has like a lakeside resort that she has to take care of, and she comes home to like help her take care of it, and she meets someone named Will, and it's kind of like navigating through a bunch of messy things because like her ex-boyfriend works at the place and all of that. But I wasn't the biggest fan of this book, but it was still like a nice simple read. I read it on my Keys vacation. This one is about Lucy, and she's vacationing at a beach house on Prince Edward Island for her best friend's wedding, and something kind of happens with her best friend's brother, and it happened a long time ago, and they're just kind of navigating that because her best friend has a rule, and it's don't fall in love with my brother. And what does she do? So yeah, that's basically how far I've gone into the book. But I would say these books aren't like life-changing or the best books you're gonna read, but if you need something quick and easy for like a summer vacation or anything like that, I would definitely say these are good reads and a place to start. Alright, my next summer book recommendation is another release that just came out like a month ago, Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I absolutely adored this book. I just want to say, first of all, it was so good. 100% recommend for any time of the year. Honestly, I didn't get too much of a summer vibe, but I don't know. I think it's like still a book that you could really binge on the beach. Justin has a Reddit thread, and he talks about how he thinks that he is cursed because every time he dates a girl, when they break up, they find their soulmate and get married and are so happy, and Emma comes across it and she's like, wait, that happens to me too. So she responds to it, and then they think that they can break the curse if they go on dates. And there's also a lot more that happens, navigating stuff with her mom and her job, which is like a travel nurse, and then Justin is navigating a bunch of stuff with his family, his siblings, and all of that. So it definitely has some deeper plot, like as a side plot, and I really enjoy that. This is definitely a really good book to read. I read this on the beach multiple times and sitting by the water at different places. This author is Elin Hilderbrand. I'm sure you guys have heard of her. She is very popular, especially with summer reads. I have only finished one of her books, which is The 5-Star Weekend, which I 100% think is a very great summer read. But I'm sure that The Hotel in Nantucket is also an amazing summer read. I actually am planning on reading it really, really soon. I'll give you guys a brief synopsis. And also, if you aren't familiar with Elin Hilderbrand, she has summary books that are women's literary fiction, and they have drama and romance sometimes and a bunch of things like that. So they're definitely good for the summer. It's like what her main scenery is, it seems like. Basically, Hollis has a food blog and she's like kind of famous on it, I guess, and her husband actually dies in a car accident. So those are like two separate things to know about the plot, and she's kind of falling apart, and she saw online that this recently happened to someone else, and they decided to do something called the 5-Star Weekend, which is you take a best friend from each phase of your life and you take them on like an all expenses paid vacation. You're supposed to like be happy again. And so she decides to do that, and a bunch of secrets get revealed and things get uncovered and things like that. And it was definitely fun to see the different personalities of all of her friends. I really enjoyed that. And this book is about Lisbeth Keaton, who just had a breakup, and she gets appointed as the manager for the Hotel Nantucket. And apparently this hotel is like really fancy and like a paradise type of place they describe it as. Of course, it says there's a lot of drama behind closed doors with the staff and the guests. And yeah, that's all it honestly says, which is kind of confusing, but I guess it's just a bunch of things get uncovered about the hotel, the staff, and like the people and all that. I know that one's like one of her most popular books too. My next book recommendation is a book that kind of got me into reading. It's like one of the first real books that I actually read. It's The Last True Poets of the Sea. I'm gonna read you guys some of the synopsis and explain it to you because I honestly don't remember this book, but I do remember being obsessed with it. I do need to reread it for sure. Violet Larkin has been shipped off for the summer, away from her parents and her looks of disappointment, and away from her troubled brother Sam. That's how she finds herself with a newly shaved head and a vow to lay low in the coastal town they visit each year, where she and Sam used to imagine they were underwater explorers in search of a shipwreck. Not just any wreck, but the one in her family's history. Her great-great-grandmother was the sole survivor when a ship called the Lyric sank off the coast of Maine. She swam to shore, fell in love, and founded the town, which she named Lyric. Violet embarked on an ambitious mission: locate the shipwreck, hidden in a watery grave for over a century. Through her first new friend in town, the deeply handsome Orion, she meets fellow wreck hunters. Whether or not they find the sunken Lyric, the journey Violet takes and the bridges she builds along the way may be the start of something like survival. So if you think that's good, then you should definitely give it a chance. Alright, so the next book that I have is a series, and it's the Summer I Turned Pretty series, which a lot of you are probably familiar of already. But these books are obviously great summer reads. It literally, all of them have the word summer in the name. I also really recommend the show. I think it's better than the books, I'm not gonna lie, and that's something that I normally would never say. Follow Belly, which is the main character, and Jeremiah and Conrad at their house. Every June and August, Belly and her mom and her brother go and visit Jeremiah, Conrad, and their mom at their summer house. The best part of her summer, she loves it. They're basically like really close family friends. Once she gets older and they realize that she's pretty, which is why it's called The Summer I Turned Pretty, they take like an interest towards her, and it kind of becomes a love triangle type thing. And I want you guys to comment down below if you're team Conrad or Jeremiah, because I am team Conrad forever. I think the most basic premise of this, and there's obviously a lot of drama and things that go along, you just need to read all 3 books. I personally recommend reading them and then watching the season that goes with them. That's kind of what I did in a way, except for obviously the last one because it's not out. They're really cute stories and they're really short. I definitely recommend. Okay, next we have The Roughest Draft. And this book is basically about two writers that wrote a book together, and it went viral. Like, it was a best-selling book, and they have a falling out, and they don't talk to each other. They're enemies and don't like each other, and then they have a contract and they're forced to go meet up in a tiny town in Florida and write their next book. And it's just giving Florida vibes. Like, look at the cover. It's at like a little pool. They're on opposite sides because they're enemies. Didn't love this book when I read it, but I wonder if I would really like it now because I read it like 2 years ago, I think. I do think it's great and a quick read for by the pool, by the beach, tanning, things like that. I think it's kind of an original plot too, and I really do like how this is also written by two authors. I think that is really smart. Alright, next we have a very popular book, Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. It was my first ever childhood friends to lovers book, and I ate it up. Like, it's in past and present time between Elliot and Macy, who randomly run into each other one day after not seeing each other for such a long time and having a falling out. And so whenever they were younger, they were both obsessed with books, and in the summers in San Francisco, they would devour books and talk all day long. They were neighbors and all that. The story is just really adorable and cute and like heartwarming. Okay, next we have an interconnected standalone series, and that is the Blue Rebel Ranch series. So this is Done and Dusted and Swift and Saddle by Lila Sage. These books I don't think are set in the summer. I don't think so, but they're just like small town, hometown romances. They're southern. I don't know, I just feel like they'd be quick and easy to binge. I binged them both personally and really like them. I thought they were actually really good for like the length, and honestly that's really all I have to say. They're just like small town cowboy romances, and they're very cute and good. Okay, we only have 5 more books left. Next we have a memoir. This is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. Most memoirs that I have read, they're very deep and emotional, and I don't know, just like have a lot of emotion and make me think a lot. This one in particular was just very lighthearted and fun, and I honestly found myself laughing at most parts. I thought it was really funny and it gave some good advice, and it's basically just about Dolly Alderton and her life going through all of her experiences with love and friendship throughout her 20s. And if you're looking for something lighthearted in the summer that's also nonfiction, I would recommend this. I think it was just really silly and really fun to read. I feel like if I had to pick a season to read this, I would read it in the summer. This is a book that I haven't read. It's Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau? I don't know. But tell me this is not giving like perfect summer vibes, everything I want to look like in summer. It's so cute, this cover. I haven't read this one yet, and I plan on reading it really soon. This book is also literary fiction, and it's set in the 1970s in Baltimore. It says 14-year-old Mary Jane loves cooking with her mother, singing in her church choir, and enjoying Broadway show tunes as the month albums. She's glad that she lands a summer job as a nanny for the daughter of a local doctor. A respectable job, Mary Jane's mother says, in a respectable house. Mary Jane's mother finds out the doctor is a psychiatrist who has taken in a famous rock star and his movie star wife for the summer so that the rock star can get clean. Mary Jane introduces her new household to crisply ironed clothes, milk that hasn't spoiled, and a family dinner schedule. And then in return, she has a front row seat to rock music and group therapy. Arrive at September with a new idea about what she wants out of life and what kind of person she's going to be. So that sounds really interesting and something that I've never read before. I feel like I could read this on the beach, and I don't know, it's really cute because it's set like in 1970s, which is a cool era. We have The Summer of Broken Rules. So basically Meredith has lost her sister, and then she's been kind of like in a rut, in a slump. This summer she's determined to join the world again, so she wants to get back out there and be herself again. So every year they take a family vacation to Martha's Vineyard, which I love that setting. I think that's such a fun setting, and it's her entire extended family. It's everybody. They're planning on doing a wedding this time, And the main plot in this book is there's a game called Assassin, and I don't know if you've ever heard of anything like Senior Assassin or things like that, but it's like you get people out with like a water gun or something, and if they're not like wearing a wristband and they get shot with the water gun, then they are out. And she forms an alliance in the game with one of the groomsmen and starts falling for him. So basically that's how it goes, and you see their little relationship there. Next we have Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Again, a moment for the cover. I honestly think this cover convinced me because it's just so cute with the surfing and like the setting of Malibu. So this is set in Malibu and in August of 1983, and this whole book is on one day. Nina's annual end of the summer party. Basically her family is famous because Mick Riva, which is known throughout a bunch of Taylor Jenkins Reid's novels, is a famous singer, and they're very wealthy. He is not like the best dad to them, so there's a lot of drama and things that come up in this. All of the famous people come to this party, or everybody wants to go to this party. A bunch of kind of drama gets unraveled and things happen throughout this. Nina has just been cheated on by her husband and left, so that's a big plot point. And just basically things get uncovered by the family and all that, and I feel like this would be so fun to binge on the beach, like a whole day just sitting at the beach or wherever you are on vacation and just reading this because it's set through one day. I feel like that would be really fun to do. Alright, and our last book is My Magnolia Summer. This is another book I haven't read, but I plan to read it as one of my next books. So I got this book in Charleston, and that is where this book is set. So Magnolia, or Maggie is what they call her, but she lives in New York City and her family lives in South Carolina, Charleston. Also says Magnolia is the fairest summer flower, and that's why she was named that, which is really, but she gets a phone call from her sister saying that her grandma is in a coma, and the coma was caused by her own mother. So she kind of has a lot going on with that, and she decides to go back to her hometown, and she sees that her hometown is kind of in shambles. Especially, so she has they have like a family business called the Magic Lantern, and it's a restaurant, and she sees that it's doing really poorly. And it says throughout this she figures out where she truly wants to be and herself along the way. And this is basically just a woman's literary fiction. Really interesting, so I'm really excited to read it. Alright, and that is all of our book recommendations for this video. Let me know if I did really bad on that or really good, because I have never done a book recommendations video, but I did enjoy making it, and I love summer reading. It's probably my favorite season to read. Hope you guys took something away from this video and liked it, and don't forget to like and subscribe and comment your favorite summer book. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!